Right, all I can see on the piston is 4 mg, and it's a B grade piston, an SC. I doubt if it's standard. I took it as being rebored. It looked to me when I rebuilt the engine that it was rebored, so pass on that one. I don't really know. The head's starting to cool down now, so I'll stick it back on the tripod and try and line up the tripod. Right, I'm just taking out the spark plug. Show you it's quite a nice brown colour. Let's get this light on so you can see. Yeah. So to me that's fine. I don't mind that at all. Nice and brown. Oh, cap. Where's that gone? The joys of working in your shed, eh? Anyway, I'm going to clean the head up. Give it a wipe. Dry her out. Now I do normally use sealant on here, so I don't know why I didn't on this build. I really don't know. You're not supposed to put anything on there, to be honest. There's no gasket. It does say there, but it looks like it's been rubbing on something. That it's a GS head. That side a bit dirty, but hey ho, it's had lots of years of use. So right, so if we stick that back on anyway. One. Again, it doesn't help with the camera being in the way, but needs must. So flat washer, spring washer, in this case 14 mil. I'm debating whether to change them to 13s, but it's no big deal either way, really, is it? So again, the numbers to yourself. It's just me again, as I keep saying. And we need a flat washer, and a spring washer. Numbers to you. What we can do is just put them on so they're snug, no more than snug. And then we're after the crisscross tightening. You can see what's going on here. I'm just doing the cylinders, nuts and bolts up. There's that one run. Flat one on. Spring. And nut again. Numbers to you. They're bloody very long vanes on here for the cooling, and you know, when you've got the engine out, everything's dead easy, but when it's in the frame like this one is, it becomes everything like working with your fingers and as far as you can get it. I just need to knock that down because it's gone on one side of the bolt. Right, there we go. So just using the pliers to start it off. At least it's on the thread now. No, it's not. Decided to drop down again. See if I can get a couple of turns with the pliers. Looks like it. Yeah. And again, we want the flat one. And spring washer, and a 14mm can reach that one. It's just the veins at the bottom are very, very deep. And again, the numbers to ourselves. And again, you can tighten these 14 pounds if you want. I always again do them by feel. Like I say, snug them up and then a quarter of a turn. And in a crisscross pattern, it doesn't matter where you start and where you end, as long as you're, you know, you're going across in an X pattern. What I'm doing with this, I'm just tightening it. That's tight. That's tight. That one's not. That's tight. That's tight. I'll go a quarter, a quarter, a quarter, and a quarter. That should be fine. I shall stick the spark plug back in and then put the cap, which has decided to fall off of it, back onto it again. Screw that cap on. Sally the Seagull's paying us a visit, and tighten that up. So we'll run it up again. I'll turn the fuel back on, give it a sec to fill up. We'll kickstarter again and just see whether I can see anything leaking out. And then I just need to put the long bolt on there, so I'm just going to stop you again for a sec. So I'll just run it for 5 minutes. We're looking for any leaks around the cylinder. The fuel probably needs to level up again as well. Got to remember, this is not warmed up at the moment. I can't believe the fan could be so efficient blowing cold air. then, but it will tick over slightly faster when the airbox is on it again. So there's no fuel anywhere, no leak. Just checking them. Checking for the last washer. Let's see if we're looking. There we are. So I'm just putting on the bolt that, or to say the nut that takes the cowling. That's tight. That's the nut. Again, should be a screw, M8 screw. I've used the stainless steel bolt. When I come across a new one, I will change that to a screw. Again, they're just TZ M8 screws, so I'll probably buy a few and change it. I think she's ticking over pretty damn good. I'm more than happy with that. And it's dying off good. So right, what we're going to do now is just drain the petrol again. Just let that run down, and then I'm taking the carburetor off. Putting the cowl back, put the carburetor on and the air filter, so I'll cut back when I've done that. Right, I've got all the carburetor back on again. I just wanted to show everybody the the choke mechanism. When I said it was primitive, is basically this. So I forget my knob and find it. There it is under there. And just screw that on the end, the right way round, of course. Put that in the wrong way round, but whatever. Right, so that's what you pull on, and what it does is it just moves by pushing and pulling this slider. So open and shut, that would be your choke on, and that would be your choke off, obviously. That's what I was saying, how primitive it is. It's just the same as putting your hands over the carburetor top. I've just noticed it is quite dirty in there. Whether that's it could be the previous owner of this scooter liked to paint everything. So I'm just going to take the screw out and have a look at everything on it. Right, I found there was too much play in the part that moves, so what I've done is I've made up a little brass washer about as thin as I can get it. I don't know how many thousandths of an inch that is. Let's get the light on so you can actually see that brass washer that I put on there. But at least it moves now, and it's not flapping, so I should have a perfectly good working choke on that. I'm just going to put another washer on here as well, so when the arm moves there's no play in that. I'm just basically taking out all the play from the mechanism itself. So all I need to do is drop that. So I'll stick the bits on that, and then I'll cut back in again. Just go over a bit here. Right, so I've put a washer either side, and I've had to reuse the same circlip. Unfortunately, I haven't got one small enough. The smallest one I've got is that, and it doesn't go through the hole, unfortunately. So I had to reuse the old one, which is something I don't normally do, but it's only holding on to the post, which is, that's always under pressure anyway. So the mechanism, cut a long story short, it pushes and pulls like that, but at least now there's no clay there. And when I actually try to suck and put my finger over the tiny little hole, which is there, it does, you can feel that the air's been stopped. So as far as I'm concerned, that would be, the choke would be working now. All I've got to do now is put it back together again, which I'm never going to get a camera in there to show you how to do that, but suffice to say, basically, if you can imagine, that goes on that way, so that's through there as you see it. Then you've got to pull and push on that. Can you see that, to open it, which is that in there? Just as simple as that, pushing and pulling. When it's all in and lined up, you just tighten that nut there, and Bob's your auntie. Doesn't matter how far it opens. That's your working clutch mechanism. So that's what it looks like in effect, if I can bring it around that way. So you're pushing and pulling on there, pulling on that, closes that, push it here. Very primitive, but it works. So let me stick this back together again, and I'll cut back in again and show you it working. At least now I'll have a working clutch, so that's one of my jobs off my list. Right, I've decided to take the the petrol tank out just to show that's the mechanism in place. Let me bring the camera back again so that we can actually see. Put some light on there, and you see the mechanism itself is clear, a rod like an S shape with a clip on it. So let me stick the light down there so you can see. So I pull the choke, see that, in, so we got run in, choke on, choke off, choke on, choke off. Very, very primitive, and does the job. So on the actual petrol pipe there should be a metal, it looks like a bit of conduit, like a shower effect on it. I personally don't like that, because if you get sagging or it rubs against the tyre, I'd lose petrol when it stops running than I'll get a puncture. The only thing with the petrol is you might come off with the you know, with the leak of the petrol, but if you do the cable or the pipe short enough, you should never come across that. The good thing with the GS, it's just 2 bolts at the back, a bracket, and then just move that front bracket over, pull off the lever and the pipe, and out it comes out literally in seconds and goes back in the same sort of time. So I'm just going to throw it back, and then we'll fire it up and we'll see how it goes. This battery's run out anyway on this. But you get basically what's going on behind that is just basically a lever, and then that blocks the air going into the air box there. As I say, very primitive, but it works, and when it works, it's pretty good. So I'm going to turn off for a sec, put the petrol tank back in, and we'll see how it fires up with the choke on. Oh no, the choke on.
motor a little bit faster.
HT leads pushing down on the throttle. No, I'll start it again.
About there, isn't it?
If you take more than that, right, I'll probably play around with the carburetor again. It's not coming down from revving to idle quick enough. It was doing it without the air filter on, so it's got to be air screw needs adjusting when it runs down between the main jet and the pilot jet. It's not coming off quick enough for me, but I'm quite happy that I've got a working choke now, as I said before, and I think I'll end this video because it'll probably be quite long. The next video I'm going to be doing is adjusting the gear cables, which I know definitely have stretched. There's a bit of play, mind you, there's only a tad of play. They look pretty good actually. We can go through the old mechanism, what the difference between that and a PX is. It's we've got to do the front brake as well, and what I'll probably do is I'll give it a little bit more air. It's a golden brown. I don't know if you can pick that up. Perfect. In fact, that's probably one of the best spark plugs I've ever seen on a GS. It's absolutely perfect. That, just like I say, we'll give it a bit more air, get it to tick over on it to tick over a little bit more, less lumpy and quieter, and get the brakes done, etc. And then we're on our maiden, well, not maiden because I've been out on it before, but we're sort of do check anything else which needs doing. Just make sure the back brakes are not locking up as well. Might stick it up on a jack, and I can run it in gears here, show you that they are quite clunky.